This video will show you how to work Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I've started with a plain square of knitting just as a sample. It's actually got a stocking stitch here which you could work the bind off after, and I've done a little bit of seed stitch at the top here to show that you can do it after any stitch you like. So let's get started. You knit the first stitch as normal, and then you do a reverse bind off, yarn over. So you come over the needle and over to the back, which gives you yarn around the needle. And then you knit a stitch. And now you're going to bring the yarn over and the first stitch over the last stitch you knitted. So you can do them together or one by one. I find it easier one by one, but it's really up to you how you want to do that. So you bring those two over. So you would do if I could do like that. And now you do another of these yarn overs and you knit another stitch. So again you've got 3 stitches on, and you bring both those, the yarn over and the stitch, over the stitch you've just knitted. So you're always bringing 2 over 1. Do another of those yarn overs, knit the next stitch. Bring the yarn over the stitch you've just knitted, and then bring the knit stitch over. So you're always going from 3 to 1, and this puts a lot of yarn into your bind off, which gives it the stretch. So we'll do that yarn over again, knit a stitch, bring them both over. You can do them together if you want to, or one by one. Catch them both, bring them over. I usually find this splits this yarn, particularly it splits. So do the yarn over, knit a stitch. You can see that that yarn over is adding an awful lot of yarn into the 2 stitches that you're passing over. And there's your bind off beginning to get very stretchy. You do get a bigger stitch, but it's nice and even and it works very well, particularly on the seed stitch infinity scarf, which I'm filming this for. So we go do the yarn over, knit a stitch, lift those 2 over, 1, and then number 2. Whoops. Make sure you don't split the stitch. This yarn is very splitty. Yarn over, knit a stitch. Bring 1 over, bring number 2 over. Yarn over, knit a stitch. Bring that yarn over the last stitch, and bring the first stitch over the last stitch. This yarn over is really important. It comes over the top and around to the back again. So it's the reverse of a knit stitch yarn over. It's a reverse yarn over. Over, knit the stitch. Pick it over, pick it over. Yarn over, knit the stitch. Pick it over, pick it over. And you work along your edge, working every stitch like this. There is a purl version of the bind off, which I'm not going to show today, but if you did this after a rib and used the purl version, which basically is using a reverse yarn over. So if you were knitting purl stitch, it would be the equivalent of reverse yarn over purl stitch. You end up with a more corrugated bind off, which matches a rib. Learn a new technique and it will make your knitting so much nicer, give it a great professional finish. Come to the end with your last stitch, and as normal, just pull the yarn, pull it through, and there is your bind off. Your nice stretchy bind off. which you can see from the top. Nice and even, but very, very stretchy. Perfect. Success, you could say.